Hi, it's great to have you back, and welcome, James Standish. Good to have you here.
Great to be here, Kent.
Now, James, a little while back we had a news story about, I think it was 150 religious leaders in Australia who are very concerned about the tone and the tenor of the discussion about radical Islam and terrorism and how that's affecting Muslims, everyday people right here in Australia.
Yeah, I think they have a right to be concerned. The religious leaders in question came from across the religious spectrum, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and so forth. And I think the concern is that there's a danger that the worst actions of the worst actors be conflated with everyday Muslims. And if you don't see the difference, or if we don't see the difference as a society, well, we could easily mislabel people, their intents and their reality, with the actions of really quite a fringy sub-element of their community.
I mean, is this a problem that Islam has in particular with a radical fringe? I mean, is this, a lot of people say, well, this is what the religion's like?
Well, first of all, we've got to take a step back and say, you know, Islam is a very large religion.
Sure.
Okay, over 1 billion people. This is a lot of people.
Second largest in the world. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So if we took all of Christianity across the board and we said everything that happened by Christians who were violent or extremists or so forth represented every Christian, we'd have a problem. We normally break it down and say, well, it's not my fault because I'm a Methodist or I'm a Anglican or whatever it is. But if you look at Christianity across the board, of course we do have problems. This period of time currently is not a time where the worst abuses within Christianity are happening, but even then, just in our lifetime, we remember the abuses of the IRA.
Sure.
Or now they have the real IRA, you know, who claim to be representing Catholicism.
Sure.
And of course, we had radical Protestants as well, who doing terrible things in Northern Ireland. So that's just within this community. The guys who did the Oklahoma City bombing also came from Christian backgrounds.
And Anders Breivik, who believed he was conducting some sort of crusade.
That's exactly right. Who did the killings in Norway? So the bottom line is, I don't go out in society thinking that he represents me or that I have any that we're connected in any way philosophically or even theologically. Yes, he claims to be a Christian. I claim to be a Christian, but there's nothing between us. And I think that we have to keep that in mind. If every Muslim was a jihadist, we'd know about it very, very soon. You know, we wouldn't.
But clearly they're not, James. And I guess the practical question is, so what's the solution? What's the way forward? Just as we wrap up.
Well, I think the way forward is for the Muslim community and the rest of our community to make very clear that the behaviors of people who are beheading individuals and fighting and killing, most of the people who are dying, of course, are Muslims from these terrorist attacks or car bombs and so forth. Make very clear that these actions are very outside the bounds of any faith. And secondly, to build bridges with those who aren't involved in this, so we don't get this stigmatization or marginalization.
And fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And marginalization breeds problems that lead to a fertile recruiting ground for these kinds of extremist groups.
Well, it's a complex issue, but thanks so much, James, for your insights.
Pleasure.
We'll be back in just a second.